Gameweek 28 captaincy is really up in the air. If a certain player comes through as the best captain, I might have to make 2 massive free transfers this game week. First up on the shortlist is Haaland against Leeds away. Competing against him is Bruno against Palace at home and Salah against West Ham at home. Haaland's the only player on the shortlist to play away from home, whilst the other 2 players have got the home advantage. Both Bruno and Salah have only scored 0.17 goals per 90 minutes, which is 0.6 behind Haaland. They're both underperforming their XG, whilst Haaland's overperforming his. Even if you refer to the XG, which is even closer, they're still nowhere near him. Unsurprisingly, Haaland's got the least amount of assists and expected assists per 90 minutes. He's miles behind Bruno, but he's not that far behind Salah. And when you look at the expected numbers, Haaland doubles Salah, and Bruno's not even got 2/3 of what Haaland's got. So even though Haaland gets 1 less point for every goal scored and XG in the calculations, this is all factored into this table, so we can safely say that Haaland's got the highest ceiling. Bruno's probably got the highest floor though because of the DEFCON potential. That's not something Salah's got, but at least those midfielders have still got that clean sheet point potential. Contributing towards Bruno's chances of scoring are his direct free kicks. He's also on indirect free kicks and corners, and that contributes towards him getting an assist. Salah gets to take the occasional direct free kick depending on Szoboszlai being on the pitch. Haaland doesn't get to take any free kicks or corners. All 3 players on the shortlist are on pens. Haaland's got the highest anytime goal scorer odds, Salah's got the highest anytime assister odds, and it's Salah who's actually got the highest anytime return odds. It's the first time we've seen this in ages, and that's despite him having the least promising underlying stats. You could argue the odds being weighted more towards goals are more favourable, and in isolation that's not incorrect, but Haaland's only 6% ahead of Salah in that department, and Salah more than makes up for it because he gets an additional point for every goal scored, and he's 20% ahead of Haaland on the anytime assister odds. The Egyptian's also got the highest points projection overall on FPL Review with 7.1, but he's only 0.1 ahead of Bruno on that data model. He's miles behind the other 2 players on Fantasy Football Fixer with only 3.4. Haaland's the highest on that data model with 6, and he's 0.5 ahead of Bruno. If we were to average them out, Bruno would have the best points projections, then Haaland, then Salah. And with Salah, I can understand that variation. Fantasy Football Fix is more thinking what he's done this season, or shall I say what he's not done. And FPL Review know exactly what he can do, especially with the fixture. Salah's opponents, West Ham, have got the 3rd worst expected goals conceded figure and goals conceded per 90 minutes this season, and that's why he's on the short list. Not only that, he's also got the home advantage. Between the other 2, it's not quite clear who's got the easier fixture. At a glance, it looks like Haaland against Leeds away because of the goals conceded per 90 minutes being higher, but Bruno against Palace at home is very similar. Just look at those expected goals conceded and clean sheet odds. It's very difficult to split them, but if we had to say who had the easier fixture, I'd just about say Haaland because of those goals conceded per 90 minutes, but let's not take away from Salah having the easiest fixture by far. Salah was dragged off 13 minutes before the end of his last match, and that's why he's got the lowest expected minutes because he's not nailed like he used to be. Haaland could also be rested like he has been recently, and that's why his expected minutes aren't quite 90 like Bruno's is. He's the most nailed player that's least likely to get subbed off. Now it's time to conclude. There's not much to split these 3 players, even 4th place isn't far behind, which is Thiago against Burnley away. When we think about the underlying stats earlier on in the video, there's no denying that Haaland's got the highest ceiling in a generic game week. But in this game week, when we consider the fixture, I'd say that Salah's just about got the highest ceiling out of the 3 players. But based on his inconsistency this season, I'd say that he's also got by far the lowest floor. He is the biggest risk and he's not my favourite captain this game week. If it was last season, I'd straight up captain him against West Ham at home, but we're not last season. Between the other 2, it's pretty much floor versus ceiling because of the fixture quality being very similar. Haaland hasn't necessarily got a low floor if you look at his returns this season. They've been quite consistent overall. As for Bruno, you could also say that he's also got a high ceiling if you look at his returns, but I'm split 51%, 49% between these 2, and I'd say I usually go for the ceiling. So in this case, I think the best captain is just about Haaland. I don't own Haaland in my team, and because of this I might have to buy him. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my team selection video. I might have to make 2 free transfers to sell Palmer onto Haaland.